They have over 30 years of experience in determining values of automobiles, jewelry, art, collectibles, and antiques. For more information and appointments, BiltMoreLoan.com.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Tensions are high as Republican leaders introduce a new health care plan, how Arizonans are reacting, and what this means for health care in the Valley.
And with the future of immigration up in the air, Arizona dreamers are concerned about where they stand, how DACA recipients are banding together in uncertain times.
Plus, as downtown Phoenix continues to grow, a shopping center is getting an upgrade, what the renovation means for the area.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Katie Beery.
And I'm Tyler Paley. Thank you for joining us. The battle over this country's health care plan continues as Arizona residents took to the Capitol today to voice their opinions on the new act. Cronkite News reporter Z Zung spoke with a Gilbert resident who does not want to see Obamacare go away.
Steve Gomez joined Democratic leaders today in a plea to save Obamacare and the life of his 18-month-old son, Anthony.
Through all of this, as you can see, he remains one of the happiest babies I've ever encountered. He loves his older brother. He's doing everything he can now because he's crawling to chase the dogs around, to chase his older brother around, chase us.
Anthony was diagnosed at birth with a rare heart condition known as TGA. Since then, he has gone through multiple surgeries, including a heart transplant and an amputation of his fingers and toes. Luckily, Gomez said the enormous hospital expenses have been mostly paid by his employer.
We apologize for those difficulties. You'll find more on our website. While Gomez was with Democrats pushing to save Obamacare, Phoenix resident Kim Sertich was at the White House to share her Obamacare horror story with President Donald Trump on Monday. Cronkite News reporter Tyler Finger caught up with her today.
The first time I got it, I tell you, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. My plan's been canceled.
Kim Sertich is a long way from her Phoenix home, but she's bringing her fight for better health care to Washington.
Well, thank you all for being here today.
Kim, along with several others, got to meet with President Donald Trump on Monday to share her struggle for health insurance.
When the president wanted to listen to my story, I thought, wow, okay, so now somebody's finally listening to my story.
That story is one of frustration at the difficulties she has had with Obamacare. In the last few years, she saw her coverage canceled 3 times, and with each notice, she expected the same thing.
As my cancellation notices came, my plans would get worse. It would be like I'd have a higher deductible, my co-pays would be higher, my premiums would be higher. And it just began getting frustrating.
And there are few options for her or the thousands of others in Arizona, where premiums have skyrocketed and insurance companies have pulled out, leaving most counties with only one insurance option.
I kind of feel like right now, under the current system, it's the individual market that's sort of in the limbo land.
For Kim, it isn't political. It's about having something that can work for her and others.
I think the law it had some unintended consequences, and let's just make sure that the next law doesn't.
For now, Obamacare remains, but Republicans have vowed action on the American Health Care Act in the coming weeks. In Washington, Tyler Finger, Cronkite News.
Tensions are rising over the proposal of the AHCA across the nation. Cronkite News reporter McKenna Delgarno tells us how the change could affect people here in the Valley.
If the AHCA is passed, Arizonans with and without insurance could be affected. I talked to ASU's School for the Science of Healthcare Delivery about what people can expect.
There are currently 1.9 million people that are covered by Medicaid in Arizona. 400,000 of those people are covered through the expansion of the Affordable Care Act. If the ACA is repealed, this number would diminish.
We would not be covering any new participants in Medicaid expansion, and the ones that are already covered through expansion would only be able to maintain coverage if they continue to be eligible.
Swapna Reddy, a clinical assistant professor at ASU, says hospitals have their concerns with the repeal.
Most of the hospital systems in Arizona and across the United States are not particularly supportive of this bill because they're very concerned about increasing the number of uninsured in the United States.
If a patient can't pay for their medical services because they don't have insurance, then unfortunately it comes out of the taxpayer's wallet.
The Congressional Budget Office says that those who have insurance could expect to see a 20% increase in their premiums as well.
The way that premiums actually rise is when you have less people, especially less healthy people in the insurance marketplace, the overall costs for care increase.
This affects not only adults but children as well. 125,000 Arizona children could lose coverage to the loss of kids' care or Medicaid too.
If Arizona loses federal funding for Medicaid, Reddy says the question becomes, where will this money come from? McKenna Delgarno, Cronkite News.
More than 750,000 people have qualified for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, known as DACA. President Trump says he'll continue the effort to protect people brought to the U.S. as children from deportation. But many of the so-called dreamers are worried about their futures. Cronkite News reporter Jessica Chavarria talked to a group of young immigrants at a retreat in Payson.
The retreat in Payson is a chance to see old friends, make new ones, and figure out how to cope with President Trump's executive orders on immigration.
The U.S. Immigration Customs Officer could use their discretion to put you in deportation proceedings. So it is something that is going to affect a lot of people in the state, especially dreamers.
The annual gathering is organized by the Arizona Dream Act Coalition. Many of the young people here remember when their lives changed with the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, also known as DACA, in 2012.
It was summer. It was like June. I remember I got a phone call from my friend. It's like, you can work now. So it was kind of like a relief. Like, at first I didn't believe her. It's like, no, it's made up. But it was a relief because now it's like, okay, I can actually go to school and practice what I'm studying.
Haley Pinedo is concerned this can all come to an end.
It would impact me because everything I worked for, it would have been gone. Like my house, my job, my car, everything. Like everything I worked for would be gone.
What do we do? Stand up! What do we do? Stand up!
Pinedo and others at the retreat found the support and strength they need.
We got to know about our rights, how to step up, how to not feel afraid, how to not be a victim, basically. How to make other people take a step for us, how to make them feel like we're not a burden, how we are we're not part of the problem, we're part of the solution.
And for many, that solution is immigration reform. In Payson, Jessica Chavarria, Cronkite News.
If you have concerns over the future of DACA or want to weigh in on the immigration reform debate, we want to hear from you. Go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org and fill out our online survey.
The Arizona Center here in downtown Phoenix is getting a multi-million-dollar makeover. Cronkite News reporter Janie Hoyt attended the groundbreaking event today and is live to tell us what the plans are for this renovation.
Yes, I'm here at the Arizona Center where the groundbreaking event happened earlier today. The plan for renovation includes making this area more inviting to pedestrians.
3, 2, 1.
The Arizona Center in downtown Phoenix has been around for over 2 decades and has undergone several renovations throughout the years. This, however, will be the biggest makeover it's had yet.
This marks the start of a multi-million-dollar refresh project that will transform the way Arizona Center looks and feels, and also the way it welcomes residents and students, employees, and visitors to our downtown.
Parallel Capital Partners and Skanska USA are partnering to bring new elements to the center, like valet parking, removing the escalators to create an open courtyard, and placing illuminated screens on the front of the building.
And we talked about on 3rd Street is taking this introverted environment on 3rd Street and making it extroverted.
Rafael Campos is the store manager for Flag World, a retail store that has been here since it opened in 1990. Campos says he is hopeful for this new renovation.
We think it'll be beneficial to our business if when all the renovations are done, they are able to bring in more retail tenants because having more retail tenants in the center would bring in more local people.
The redesign is going to add more opportunity for new restaurants and retail stores to open up shop, and it's going to modernize the look of the complex.
The project will take about 9 months to complete, and construction starts on Monday. In downtown Phoenix, Janie Hoyt, Cronkite News.
Detecting cancer early can be the difference between life and death.
But diagnosing patients can be a tricky science. Coming up on Cronkite News, how a group at ASU is using blood tests to find cancer early.
It can make you just wonder, do these people know what they're doing or know what's happening to me?
Plus, how education and a little bit of hope are helping a young cancer survivor transition back to school.
I'm Scott Pelley, anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. In our changing media landscape, it is crucial for journalism education to ensure a commitment to the truth, unbiased reporting, strong ethics, unwavering fairness, and above all else, accuracy. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a place where students can innovate and transform the news industry while always upholding the values of the school's namesake. The Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule, where it's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Access interactive digital and printable program guides, repeat times, and full episode descriptions. Watch program previews of best bets for the coming week. Search by title to find your favorite shows. You can even add programs to your calendar and get email reminders when they're about to start. It's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online.
Types of cancer.
Cronkite News reporter Mia Maslar tells us ASU researchers may have found a way to detect them before any symptoms even show up.
Early detection is important because it takes it from a disease which is very, very difficult to even consider treating, let alone curing, into a disease where possibly you can manage it.
Philip Zableski is undergoing clinical trials for pancreatic cancer at the Translational Genomics Institute. He beat stage 4 cancer once, but it's back again. Research shows pancreatic cancer develops slowly over decades. Researchers at Arizona State University's Biodesign Institute developed a new blood test called immunosignature, which can indicate whether a person is likely to develop diseases like pancreatic cancer.
We figured that if we could figure out some way to monitor people's health on a regular basis and to diagnose disease early, we could make medicine more effective and much less expensive, and that's what we set out to invent.
The technology makes it possible for doctors to diagnose diseases before they can be detected with imaging machines. Johnston says by looking at someone's blood sample using the immunosignature chip, doctors can determine which diseases they are likely to develop.
You put it on a little piece of paper, basically a filter paper. You can let it dry, put it in a standard envelope, and send it through the mail to be analyzed.
Researchers here at the TGen Institute in Phoenix are conducting their own cancer studies, but they hope that in the future, the immunosignature technology will benefit their work. Both research institutes say early detection has an ambitious future. Understanding information in blood samples is only the beginning of better health diagnosis.
What we are looking at is mutations that are present inside the cancer cell in its DNA. What this group is looking at is looking at markers that are potentially present on the surface of the cancer cell, so on the cell membrane of the cancer cell. And so both have significant advantages, and both could use the help of the other in a way.
Researchers hope the immunosignature technology could be widely available in the next few years. In Phoenix, Mia Maslar, Cronkite News.
A 12-year-old cancer survivor is now back at school after 2.5 years of treatment.
Reporter Drew Marine shows us how one program called HOPE is making this transition back to school worry-free for students like Emma Kerr.
12-year-old cancer survivor Emma Kerr is back to school this week after her last successful round of chemo.
It's great to be chemo-free.
And while she was preparing for her return, her classmates at Ingleside Middle School learned what they have to do as Hope Ambassadors to make her transition back to school an easy one.
So through this program, we are able to educate, we are able to pull on their heartstrings with compassion, and then bring them to action, which for them is to become a Hope Ambassador.
HOPE stands for Honor Our Peers Every Day. HOPE volunteers and program coordinators like Sharon Wozni teach elementary to high school students about what they can do to make their classmates return to school comfortable and clear up any misconceptions they may have about cancer. Missing more than a year's worth of school can be stressful, but Emma is comforted by the fact that her classmates learned everything they needed to know about her absence through the presentation.
I think it made it a little bit easier because most people don't know why sometimes I'm out so many times or why I have to be in certain things at certain times, why I get tired easily.
The main point 7th grader Paige Sturm took from the HOPE presentation was that outside appearances mean nothing when it comes to friendship.
Just because you have cancer doesn't mean that you're gonna change so dramatically. Maybe there's a physical appearance change, but that doesn't mean you're gonna change on the inside.
But all worries aside, Emma is happy to be back with her friends every day at school. In Phoenix, Drew Marine, Cronkite News.
HOPE volunteers and coordinators are traveling to cities across Arizona in the next few weeks for students like Emma who are getting back into their normal school routine.
If you want the HOPE organization to help someone you know transition back to school smoothly, you can go to childrenscancernetwork.org.
It's spring break season, and as the weather heats up, many Arizonans are looking for ways to cool down.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how businesses at Lake Havasu are preparing for spring breakers.
It's been in the 90s and sunny this week, but will we break records later? I have your full forecast coming up.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Right about now.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe it?
A massive snowstorm is causing havoc in the Northeast, impacting businesses and delaying flights. Tyler Fingert is in Washington, where Snowstorm Stella is burying the city.
Tonight, the big dig. The massive nor'easter dropped a lot of snow from our nation's capital to New York and even to Boston.
This storm is still coming, it's still real, and people need to continue to pay attention to help us keep you safe.
In D.C. today, government employees got a late start to the day. Government offices worked on a 3-hour delay. This March winter storm dropped a blanket of snow here on the National Mall, the first measurable snowfall this season. Crews worked through the night in many places to get the streets clear. The storm is causing quite the headache for travelers. Airlines like Delta, American, and Southwest canceled thousands of flights ahead of the storm, leaving many stranded, including people heading to Arizona. In New York, Mayor Bill de Blasio asked people to stay off the streets.
For your own safety, given the frigid temperatures, the huge amount of snow in a short period of time, the wind, stay off the streets.
People in the Northeast are hoping this will be Mother Nature's final punch before spring starts next week. In Washington, Tyler Finger, Cronkite News.
I've been watching this winter storm and we can see it moving all the way up the coast, but it does look like it is about to disappear. That's good news for airports because many flights have been canceled up in New York and also here in Phoenix. But I don't think we need to worry about the cold weather so much. How about the warm weather? Look at this. The record was 95 degrees back in 2013. We're only getting to 92 today, so not quite the record, but that could be happening later in the week. According to the National Weather Service, the last time that it reached 92 degrees yesterday on March 13th was back in 1972. So we have been breaking some records here in 2017. Across the state right now, we're seeing temperatures that are 12 to 15 degrees higher than normal. Look at this, 95 degrees in Yuma and 91 in Lake Havasu. So if you plan on heading there for spring break, please plan accordingly. And a look into the rest of your week, we're seeing those 90-degree temperatures and sunny conditions and even 96 degrees on Saturday. Allison Gargaro, Cronkite Weather.
Lake Havasu City is about 145 miles away from Phoenix on the Colorado River. It's a hot spot for spring breakers, but the city doesn't just expect revenues to stop at bar tabs, food, and hotels. Investigative reporter Megan Finnerty went out west to see how spring breakers affect their economy.
Tourism is our economy in Lake Havasu.
Tourists, snowbirds, and boaters come to Lake Havasu to see the London Bridge, take a tour, and soak up the sun. But when the college students show up, it's a sign.
In March is when we get our spring breakers, which is kind of the signal to us that winter has ended and our summer's on its way.
Hotels are preparing for the influx of spring breakers, having almost sold out of rooms for the entire month of March.
Typically, we're at about an 85% occupancy, and now that's counting weekends, which is not when the formal spring break period is. That is Monday through Wednesday, and they'll depart on Thursdays.
A seasonal tradition that ripples through the area economy. Spring breakers spend their money on hotels, rentals, and bar tabs, prompting employers to hire seasonal staff. People work overtime, make more money, and in turn spend their wages in the city. City data reveals the spring break month of March last year was the second highest month in terms of tax revenue from restaurants, bars, and entertainment. And since fiscal year 2009, total taxes collected has grown from about 14 million to almost 20.
Spring break specifically is more of a long range. Not only do folks come to Lake Havasu for spring break, maybe for a weekend, 3, 4, 5 days or a week, they also create memories, and those memories generally turn into repeat visits.
But not all companies are benefiting from the breakers. Sunset Tours caters to an older, wealthier audience on board their 2 boats.
We get a few spring breakers on board, but a lot of people like to come here during spring break, quite frankly, to enjoy the action that the spring breakers bring. So it's a lot of fun. It's a fun time of the year. It's my favorite time of the year.
But this year they're hoping to target the younger demographic.
But this is the first year we're really looking into providing a service to the spring breakers. Up until this point, we haven't really focused a lot of attention on spring breakers, but it is a big market here for the next 4 weeks. So we are going to be putting together a spring break tour to Copper Canyon.
And the businesses are ready for the influx of students and their cash. In Lake Havasu, Megan Finnerty, Cronkite News.
Lake Havasu is a draw for students from California, Nevada, and of course, here in Arizona. March 14th marks a sweet day on the calendar, Pi Day.
And while the day originally celebrates the number 3.14, many are enjoying a slice of dessert instead. Coming up on Cronkite News, how kids enjoyed the day by creating their own treats.
Fascinating. You know, sometimes I wish I wasn't so beloved.
Wow.
Baby, I'm howling for you.
It's literally one for the history books.
Enjoy.
Today is Pi Day. Celebrating the Greek letter pi is used in mathematics to represent the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter, which is approximately 3.14. Now its day, 314, is celebrated across the world. Cronkite News reporter Danielle Kernkamp went out to see how kids in Phoenix are spending their Pi Day.
According to a Pew Research Center survey, Americans rank math as one of the most important skills that children need in order to succeed. And today, in honor of Pi Day, kids celebrated math at the Children's Museum in Phoenix.
Being able to do hands-on projects like this, it helps them engage, it helps them to remember.
And then we got whipped cream on top with it.
Participants were able to choose between vanilla or chocolate pudding and make their own pie in a cup.
They will always remember about Pi Day today because, of course, if you add anything with food, it makes it better.
That same Pew Research study says that math is quite popular among students, many describing it as one of their favorite subjects. In Phoenix, Danielle Kernkamp, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, physicist Lawrence Krauss joins us to talk about his new book, The Greatest Story Ever Told So Far. And we'll hear about Arizona Theater Company's newest play, Albatross.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, ahead of this week's general election in the Netherlands, we take a look at the continued rise of the right in Europe. That's Tuesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
With messages telling us to lose weight, exercise more, and live happier, stress-free lives.
You can reach these goals, and we're here to discuss how to reach those goals.
In this program, Dr. Perlmutter will share his comprehensive approach to living your best life, filled with joy and health.
How do you make simple but meaningful changes in your lifestyle choices so that you can get back to loving your life?
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Unlock your newest member benefit. Over 1,000 episodes of your favorite PBS shows. American Masters, Antiques Roadshow, Nature, Nova, Masterpiece. Watch the best of PBS